All right, second topic, raise of hands. We're going to lighten up the mood
They're
just
ready.
a little bit.
My hands are ready.
Okay, did you get up to watch the royal wedding?
Get up? No.
On Saturday.
I didn't get up.
Did you set the alarm at least? And then try and then went back to sleep?
I didn't go to bed until maybe 2 hours before the royal wedding
girl,
went
you
on
were out
air.
and about.
I was
on a Friday.
living my life.
What were you doing? Because I left dinner around 10. What were you doing until
you
2
guys were at
o'clock?
dinner together?
No,
Where'd
we
you
did.
go?
We went to Makuni, and then I don't actually know what I did afterwards, but I was up late.
Because she left and she was like, oh, I'm so sleepy.
Okay, we won't get into where this night went. But
This
anyways,
is tea. I'm sipping tea on
you
that
are
one.
sipping the tea. We'll sip that later. Okay, anywho, if you didn't get up to watch the wedding, then you missed the fact that, okay, there was obviously a dress that everyone's talking about that Meghan Markle wore. There's the blue ring that Meghan Markle wore, which was Princess Diana's. It was her something blue, something borrowed, something
beautiful.
blue. So great. We could talk about all those facts,
Right.
but go ahead.
No, that was like, there was so much that I was like, it was like the, you tell me what it was, because I was so excited. I only caught the replays. And again, I did not watch the whole thing. Let's be honest. I had a very busy Saturday.
Yeah.
But from everything I saw, from the pastor with the sermon to that choir, hello, that's not the choir director is my new favorite auntie. I loved everything about this wedding. And I was so excited that they presented both sides of the cultures.
And the representation. I always
Exactly.
say representation matters, and people were really happy with that. Until you have Elaine Welteroth, right?
Yes.
And she is the former editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue. And so she has now moved into this role across the country. You see her. I mean, we all follow her on social. An activist. She goes at every conference, at everything, speaking on the fact that she is herself a biracial, a black woman. And so here she is right here, and you can see all her posts. So she posted this picture. Can we actually scroll up on her Instagram? Because it's the second picture you see here.
This is
it's just
a
photo.
full screen that I took, but I did have a full screen of that.
There you go. So there's her mom, and there's Meghan Markle. There is her mom. So we know that she comes from a biracial family. Some will call her black, some will call her biracial, right? And this is exactly to Elaine's point. So she goes on and says in this long post after the wedding, and she goes, I know this is not a popular thing to do. Everyone's talking about the dress and the ring and all of that. But I want to sit here and talk about the way in which Meghan Markle was represented in terms of how she was deemed in the media, right? So what I found fascinating, this is her words, what I found fascinating about the media blitz surrounding Meghan Markle had nothing to do with her status, her dress, or her freckles, although they're pretty cute.
And they are.
And they are. Media's sudden embrace of the term biracial. Virtually every other biracial celebrity we know, many of whom marked historic first, President Obama to Halle Berry, right? The media has used the term black to describe them. Now, she goes on to say what that experience is like, being deemed a black person in America versus being deemed a biracial person in America. So she brings up the question, and she appreciates and celebrates the fact that Meghan Markle has been deemed a biracial woman. But she begs the question, well, why wasn't she deemed black? Why wasn't she deemed black? Because was the royal family not ready for that? Can we have this conversation?
Who is not saying she black?
A lot
Because you
of
were
people.
calling her the first black princess.
I was like, this is, and from where I'm sitting and all the media that I am taking in, we are celebrating the first black princess.
And see, and I haven't heard that. I've heard biracial, and that was
Me
the
too.
official way in which the press release came out.
Just the feed from the royal family.
I mean, I didn't notice that, and when you told me about this morning, I was like, you know, I'm really good. You know, there's obviously an issue with race all across the world. But I don't want to pull the race card where I think it doesn't deserve to be pulled. And this is one of those situations. I was like, did you see the wedding? They were like, I remember the term
They
on social
celebrated
media,
black.
not my term, but I'm going to say it here. They were blackety black. Like, the culture was represented. Why? What are we doing?
Was. I think that what she is pointing out is the idea that being biracial wasn't popular in the media, not a way to label people. It was the idea that if you have one drop of black in you, you are black. And whatever that meant, whether it's stigmatized or not in the media, you had that to follow with you. And while some people might identify as black versus identifying as biracial, it was the media coming out and going ahead and calling her biracial. And the question it poses of, was the royal family not ready to handle this? And why did Meghan get that courtesy while people like Barack Obama and Halle Berry did not? They were not afforded the same courtesy.
So are we in this moment happy that, okay, biracial is being used, okay, the culture has gotten to that point so we can maybe move forward? Or is it like, wait a minute, if they would have used black, would that have meant more to the community?
Exactly.
I feel like this is much ado about nothing. I'm not noticing a sense of her not embracing her blackness. I haven't noticed in the media, and this is just from the media I take, and there's a lot of different ways to get information. I have not noticed anyone just emphasizing the biracial. It's like everything I've been seeing is like, we're getting a black princess. And if someone else posts like, we're getting a black princess on Malcolm X's birthday, mind blown.
So as a black woman, you were happy with the way in which her culture, your culture was represented and the way in which she's been labeled.
I have no issues.
What does she, how does she identify herself?
I'd love to
know. And that's really, it is up to her. And I would love to know that part of it, because then how she identifies herself, then that's what we go with.
Right.
Kind of, because I would appreciate, the same respect as well. However, I just decide to describe myself.
Yeah, it's identity. I mean, you talk about the LGBTQ community. If one looks like a man, but they identify as a woman, then you call them a woman and use the pronouns she and her.
Exactly.
And that's for each individual, as Mason saying.
Really key to this debate is how does she describe herself?
Here's the question: will Meghan Markle be able to come out and talk about? This isn't a political conversation, but it is absolutely a conversation about race in this country, which can be quite controversial, right? In the way in which, but as a royal, she is not allowed, according to the things you were talking about, right? She can't even not wear pantyhose,
honey.
And
oh
she
my
can't
God.
not wear.
She has to wear pantyhose.
Yeah, she can't not wear pantyhose.
Exactly.
So my thing is, will she be able to defend herself publicly?
Hillary, one of our producers, just told me in my ear that in an interview with Elle magazine, Meghan referred to herself as, what was it again? Multiracial, or a strong, confident, mixed race woman. And so she refers to herself as that. And that's great. But what Elaine was saying in her post was that she's excited that the media has this, they're able to speak about biraciality and how that might change the conversation going forward and for us to be more inclusive. And I think that Meghan, who refers to herself as a feminist and definitely an activist, would be pro any sort of progression of the conversation of equality or diversity or integration of all people. So I don't think that she would find fault with us having this conversation as long as we are responsible about what we do in the media with it.
Yeah, and I know Elaine says she's excited.
I was thinking about
Elaine says she's excited, but she also says, on the other hand, and some might call this cynical, I can't help but wonder if Meghan's skin tone were a few shades deeper, or if she had worn her hair naturally curly, would we be making space for this conversation?
It's so interesting.
So while she's excited, there's still a tone of,
oh yeah,
she's being cynical too, because she wants to continue to have this conversation. So
a viewer brought this up to me in my Facebook comments, sent me an article linked back to an African-American, well, not African-American, but a physically black woman who was a queen in England back in the day. So it poses the question, or it answers the question, was the royal family ready? They already had it back in the day. So
I feel like
where's the conversation going now?
I feel like if we say, is the royal family ready for that? Yeah, it implies that there's a sense that they may not be. And then that implies racism.
Right.
So I'm just like, I don't want to put that on them because I don't think it applies.
Definitely not to
Harry. Because here they are accepting her.
Yeah,
right.
Now,
she got the.
Now they probably weren't ready for that sermon. If you saw the cutaways,
I know.
So I'm like, oh, this is more lively than we normally have on a good Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Oh, is it out of time?
I thought we were ready out of time.
Quickly.
All right, everyone.
Thanks so much for watching the ABC 10 Information Network. If you want to see more stories just like this one, all you've got to do is click subscribe.